Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I would like to read an article entitled India's Conceptualizations of Maritime Security. This article is part of Conceptualization of Maritime Security in Southeast Asia, a series of analyses produced by expert convened by the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Maritime security in India's national language. While India does not have a national language, Hindi and English are designated official language for use by the government. The term used to reference maritime security in Hindi is prawn samudri suraksha. The word samudri means related to the sea, and suraksha can simultaneously translate into defense, safety, or security based on the context of its usage. Used together, the word translates reasonably accurate to maritime security. Usage of Hindi term, however, is limited to speech translations of English document or to the vernacular media. Since English is the prevalent language in official policy and operation domains, the term maritime security is used commonly in a manner that is aligned with English-speaking countries and their maritime agencies. India's official definitions for and usage of maritime security. There is no nationally mandated definitions of maritime security in India. The India Maritime Doctrine, a document issued by the Indian Navy, characterizes maritime security as freedom from threats at or from the sea. However, this may not be useful as a definition as it a lacks frames of reference, threats for whom and for whom, does not describe the metrics that may be used to determine the presence or absence of threats, and C posits maritime security as a state of being rather than a persistent effort that is normally most visible in times of threat. The other key document ensuring secure seas. Indian maritime security strategy does not define maritime security. In the absence of a national definition of maritime security, there is arguably a lack of consensus within Indian governmental departments on what maritime security entails. The lack of a common framework for maritime security has often resulted in resistance to measures that may be perceived as encroaching upon the authority of a department or an agency. For instance, the Defense Ministry proposal for the fitment of radio interfixation transponder on Indian fishing boats met with significant opposition from the Fisheries Department and unions, as their perceptions of maritime security to be able to fish without restrictions was in conflict with that of the Defense Ministry to be able to identify all vessels operating off the Indian coast at all times. A national definition of maritime security would be able to provide the strategic context, allowing different stakeholders to see how their big role in system could enable the attainment of national objectives and interests. In the absence of this big picture context, efforts of one agency often viewed as zero-sum propositions by others. India's key document for defining and understanding maritime security. The Indian Maritime Doctrine and Ensuring Secure Seas. Indian Maritime Security State are two key official documents that deals with the subject of maritime security in India. Interestingly, both these documents have been promulgated by the Indian Navy, a factor that introduced two significant constraints. First, since the Navy is effectively a department of the government, it does not exercise any authority over other peer departments, military or civilian. The legitimacy of the policies held therein therefore is contingent upon other departments recognizing this as capstone document and accepting their provisions voluntary. Second, though the titles of both documents use the word maritime, the contents the contents are quite evidently based on a naval perspective of maritime matters. In fact, the Indian Maritime Doctrine states upfront that the Indian Maritime Doctrine, however, deals specifically with the concept and principle of employment of India's naval power. Effectively, therefore, that document is more of a naval doctrine and not what other nations would consider national maritime doctrine. Notwithstanding the limitation, this document offers good insight into the direction of strategic maritime thought in India, ensuring secure seas lists India's maritime interests, on one of which is the safety and security of Indian citizens, shipping, fishing, trade, energy supplies, assets, and resources in the maritime domain. Whereas this is a reasonably inclusive conceptualization of maritime security. The ensuring objective and strategies are highly naval in character. This is understandable considering the Navy's authorship of the book, but the fact remains that the document falters is enunciating a comparably comprehensive strategy for meeting national maritime security imperatives. There is there is therefore a perceptible discord between the ends of the means, one arising primarily due to the lack of a national government document that has the necessary authority to provide congruence to maritime security imperatives, objectives, and strategies. Additional context for India. India has a rich maritime tradition, however, the colonial period and the ensuing years post independence, when the country faced significant security threats along its land border to the north and the west, have severely undermined its capacity for maritime thought. The Indian Navy has taken the lead in shaping the national discourse on maritime security, especially through the production of doctrinal documents. However, the Navy can play only a limited role in developing a national maritime culture that forms governance at all levels. So that's all the article. Bye bye and see you on my next video. Bye.